Yo guys, it's Centaur here, and I'm back at it again, once again late. But this episode, oh my god, it's a banger.
He didn't even introduce. That's how mad of the episode it was.
Exactly. Sorry guys, I was too excited.
You really need it. Let's just get into the episode.
Yeah, this episode was nuts.
It's just mind blowing.
The best episode so far. Let's just put that out there, which is insane.
This episode is like fucking 20 out of 20, like 400 out of 10. This episode was nuts. So we start off basically where we left off last episode with Eren and Zeke in. Well, so last episode
we kind of begin with them clashing at the end.
Yeah, and basically we start with baby Eren. We start with Eren's getting his nappy changed.
Or something. But basically we're going through Grisha's memories. So we're not actually going through Eren's memories, we're going through Grisha's memories. Because Zeke's plan is to basically try and show Eren like, Grisha was manipulating you, whatever.
Yeah. He's basically trying to, in big quotation marks, unbrainwash Eren Yeager.
But in reality, what he's trying to do is brainwash him. So, but it's whatever. But we start off with baby Eren and sort of Zeke, and Zeke then explains why they're there, which is he's trying to essentially unbrainwash Eren.
Well, even this first scene, this is when Eren says like, "I don't need this." Right? He's like, "I don't need it. I'm not brainwashed." And we think like at that point you're like, "Oh, he's just trying to like take the mick out of Zeke by saying like, oh, I'm not brainwashed, blah blah blah." But then later on in the episode, we find out what he means by that like phrase when he goes, "Oh, I'm not brainwashed."
Yeah, but we'll get to that in a second. I mean, we're sort of slowly just trudging through some of.
Yeah,
it's more of a just Grisha's later memories, because basically the reason Zeke can do this is because I think in the last episode we understand that like this convergent point is where all the memories of the subject of Ymir come to. So like this is where like
he can sort of create the exact like replica of the memories, because as Zeke said himself, Ymir has the power to like create anything. So he's sort in a world. He's basically creating a VR like world of Grisha's memories, and then like seeing through it.
But as they sort of go through it, we get to like some. So we're just going through some basic memories that we've seen before, but it starts to become slightly more important when Grisha is laying down on his desk.
Yeah, he was like, I think he was like writing something, like a diary, probably like one of his like war diaries or some shit.
Yeah, and he at the time he was asleep, and what he says is like, Zeke, I'm sorry. And then he wakes up suddenly, and he's looking forward at where Zeke is in. This is a bit confusing to understand, but basically it's like where Zeke is in the memory as an adult, and he's like, oh, that can't be Zeke. This guy's old and has a beard, but we know that it is Zeke now. So it's kind of showing an inkling that he can almost see into the future.
I feel like we have to go off track a bit. Should we go to the end and then come back to these scenes and explain them properly?
Yeah.
So basically, just to put it into example, we find out at the end that the Attack Titan's ability, and we let's just say massive credit to us, like not trying to like brag or anything, but like we said, it has something to do with like future vision. Basically, the Attack Titan's ability is to see the future inheritor's memory. That is what the Attack Titan's ability is.
They can basically see anything the future inheritor sees. It's kind of like how the memory transfer works with previous Titan holders.
But it's the opposite
in the future. Yeah, it's in the future now. And the reason this is important is because basically we later found, or we sort of near the Eren end sort of sequences, we find out Eren had been manipulating Grisha through memories, through his own memories, because Grisha can see future Eren's memories. He's been manipulating Grisha into basically doing what he wants him to do.
Going back to the scene where he sees Zeke, we looking like through it, you realise he's actually seen Zeke through Aaron, through Aaron's memories, older future Aaron's memories, and that's quite like at first you're very like, what's going on? Why can he see Zeke?
Yeah.
And you realise that you can see him through Aaron's eyes.
Because they go to another memory of the when Zeke, when Grisha is standing at the door and he says to Aaron, I'll show you what's in the basement. This is the season 1 scene. The very first episode. But we now find out he was never looking at the kid Aaron. He was looking at future Aaron because he could see the future version. He could see future Aaron's memories of where he is now. Again,
he's not actually seeing Aaron in a sense. But because he knows where Aaron is, basically because he's seeing himself through Aaron's eyes, he knows where Aaron's standing. Yeah,
and he's looking at him in the future. Yeah, and he's
looking up where he's been seeing himself from. It's quite fun. It's quite mind-boggling.
A little side note. The fact that he's saying, "I'll show you what's in the basement," like with showing future Aaron, not young Aaron, I think that may insinuate the fact that we missed something in the basement. Like we didn't get everything we needed to get. Like we got the books and Grisha's past, but possibly. We may have missed something that like only Grisha knows about. But that's a little side note.
Yeah.
Little thing.
Right before this, just to like backtrack a bit, we see like in one particular, we go back to the memory of when Aaron kills those bandits. And I think it's a very important dialogue from Aaron. And this is also when Zeke finds out, like, oh, Aaron's not being manipulated. You sort of just, like, even though, like, Grish is, like, drilling, like, certain things to Aaron's not taking, like, even young Aaron's not taking it. But what future Aaron says is, like, it's a fucking cold line. He said, if someone tries to steal away my freedom, I won't hesitate to take theirs. If you look at Aaron as a character throughout the whole season, like the whole series, the first people that tried to take away his freedom were the Titans. That's why he had such a hatred towards the Titans. And is why
it was like the whole concept was that the Titans took away his freedom because that's why he wanted to join the Survey Corps.
Yeah.
It's because he's like I'm trapped in the walls by the Titans, I'm not free. Because they say it a lot, like the very first episode, the narrator says, what is it, like animals in a cage.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's insinuating that they're not free.
We also skip past a scene where, as they're looking for the memories, we see Grisha actually finds the Titan formula a lot earlier than when he used it to eat the thingy. When we see he finds it, we see he chooses not to use it. And
are you talking about the basement?
Do you remember later? He found the royal family there.
Yeah, he finds it a lot. He finds it about a year earlier than he actually went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
We see Aaron and Zeke like quite surprised about this fact. Like this is a real thing for Zeke, who kind of.
And once again, like when Grisha like goes back and hugs Aaron, like he's like Zeke's like, what the fuck? This is not the same person that raised me. Because obviously Grisha was quite apathetic towards Zeke in comparison to Aaron.
Apathetic is like Grisha was a prick.
Yeah, he was a
dick.
he was a dick.
He hated him. He was like he hated this fucking kid.
But basically, he just saw him as a tool. Grisha just saw like Zeke as a tool to get into the military. Like,
carrying on.
But yeah, back to where we were. Basically, we finally get to the moat. And also, a good thing to note, which Gurgent pointed out, is that in previous scenes, we see sort of Zeke leading the charge when it came to the memories. But as you move forward, Aaron sort of like jumps the gun. He's starting to say, let's go to the next memory. Which sort of like foreshadows the fact that Aaron's in charge. Like, he was in charge of the whole thing.
Because it's like a lot of the time, so at the first couple of memories, Zeke is like, come, we need to go to the next one. Come, let's go to the next one. He was trying to, do the manipulation thing where it's like, he was controlling the pace and he was trying to show Aaron just what he wanted him to see. But Zeke must have fucking slipped up somewhere with these memories, because the brother started using his own tactics on himself, and this guy started confusing himself with what the hell is like going on, and it was like Aaron then started his whole sort of manipulation process, and his like, come Zeke, let's go to the next memories. And it was almost like Aaron ended up showing Zeke what he wanted, and it kind of shows. I think it kind of links back to what we were saying before, where Zeke may not have as much power as we thought he did.
Yeah.
So there may be that now that it turns out Aaron was in control, and this was like the plan. But I mean,
yeah.
After that, we get to
the final memory, basically the underground chapel. Like we get to the underground chapel scene, where this scene has been shown like this is like the third time seeing this scene right now. We go to basically
every single time it's different. Every
single time it's like different. Right. Basically, we finally get to see like the whole thing. We see Grisha like go towards the royal family, trying to convince them that use the founding titan abilities to save the war, like prevent the Titans from coming in, whatever. And a quick thing to note, Frida, who is like the founding Titans like holder at that time, you can sort of see her like considering it, and then as soon as she like closes her eyes, she opens it again, and she starts like muttering like completely different shit. Like she's like it's sort of like alluding to the fact of the king's will.
She gets taken over by the king's will. I think the point of the king's will was less about attacking outside and literally just about assuring complacency.
Yeah.
Like just making sure that they're basically, I think the whole point, the king's whole sort of idea was just, he knew that they were going to get attacked by Marley, so what he did was he basically he made the king's will so that they slowly just fizzle out and die. That was like the whole point.
Because basically he's saying the Eldians deserve to die, like we've like done too much, and in his ideology basically is that let the people be ignorant and just die, like, which obviously Grisha like says like, well, these people have like, they're not even part of their ancestors' sins. Why should they suffer?
Yeah, it's like it goes back to season 4 part 1 with
Gabby,
and that girl, when she's sort of telling her like, and they're talking, and they're like, oh, but my mother never did anything. She's not part of those sins, and it's a fair point to make. These people, they had no participation in, so why did they deserve to die just because they were born? You know.
And then Grisha did the maddest reveal of the century. Like, he says,
it's about to eat them. We all think like, oh, he's just going to do what we've done before. And he man just says no. He says no. He says, I don't want to do this. I don't want to murder the children. He says,
So, and then it's sort of like, pause. This memory is different. This is not how we saw it before.
Well, right before that, he like mentions the attack titan ability. He tells them, he tells them what the attack titan ability is, and that's how we found out. And at this point, like Eren, you see Eren's expression. My man is angry, bro. Like, he is raging. Like, sort of basically, it's, sorry to sidetrack all the time, but it sort of goes back to like how Eren's expression, he has that vivid expression that he has back at season 1 to 3, which that expression was literally lost in this season. And in that scene, he sort of gets that expression again.
In the whole of season 4, Eren very emotionless. But then we see here, he is definitely not emotionless now. He is pissed off about the way that Grisha is acting. And then Grisha denies killing the royal family initially.
Yeah, he's basically like, he sees the children, he's about to transform, and he's like, no, I can't do this. And he starts crying.
But then
this is the best moment in anime, bro. Like, fucking so good.
But
like,
then this motherfucker, he comes up to him like breathing down his neck, and he's like, hey, nah, you're gonna do it. Yeah, and he says,
the first fucking thing. He's like, do you remember what happened, bro? Do you remember how your sister died? Like he's emotionally manipulating his own dad. He's like, how all the restorationists died, how Aaron Kruger died for you to be here. And he was like, you started this story. And it's like, fucking.
He was basically,
and at this moment, it's so insane. You see the parallel between Zeke and Frida. Frida's being like bugged by Grisha, and Zeke's being bugged by Eren. He's like, what the fuck?
He's terrified. You can see it on his face. Zeke is fucking shitting himself. He knows he's made a mistake. I mean, I think he's realized that he has no. That's sort of when he realized, no, there's no power. He holds no weight in the situation, and Eren is there just telling Grisha, like, you started it, you must end it, and he manipulated him into basically grabbing the knife and transforming, and that's sort of when our normal memory resumes, where he kills the entirety of the royal family, and steals the founder titan. But then later, when he's outside,
you see Grisha just yelling out. He's yelling out to Eren, like, glitching. I did what you did. I did what you said I should do. Like, he's like, Eren, can you hear me? Like, bro, he's bugging.
A little side note, actually. He literally looks. Do you remember in Death Note? This is going to be some slightly older anime fans. In Death Note, when Light loses his mind. He acted the exact same way.
Yeah.
Like, we went. It's just so.
And then. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this is like, the next scene was like quite gut-wrenching. He sees Zeke through the eyes of Eren, obviously. And
he's just apologizing and
he's sorry. He's like apologizing, and he's like basically being remorseful. He's like saying, I was such a shit dad. And also, even though we like clown on Zeke and everything, his character gets closure. Zeke is a good written character, and like, you see him like start crying, because this is also, it's sort of what he always wanted. He wanted like his dad to just love him, his dad to just appreciate him, and he finally gets that.
Then we get to the truly like chilling bit where Grisha looks at him in the eyes and goes, Eren is going to succeed.
He basically tells Zeke, like, you tried, but it was not enough. But then he says stop Eren. So he's still pleading with him to try and sort of. He knows Eren. He knows that Eren cannot be stopped.
He knows it's a lost cause, but he's like, he wants something to be done.
Yeah, I think what it is he knows Eren cannot be stopped by force. So he's basically just pleading with him to try and convince Eren to stop. But that's pretty much it, right?
And then you see, like, right, it flashes back to like them in the convergence point, and you just see like Chad Eren doing a T pose, like, whilst chained
above him,
fucking,
like God.
Like,
it was nuts.
Bro,
insane. That brings us to a very cliffhangery but a very riveting conclusion to this episode.
And if anything, this episode has cemented AOT as one of the GOATs. Like, it was already one of the GOATs, but this episode alone,
it put it in the league for time. But okay,
all right.
At risk of making this run too long, Mandem, this episode was nuts. I don't know what. Subscribe or whatever. And do the thing.
Peace.
Very good enough.